Welcome to our deep dive into personal productivity. We'll be exploring Robert C. Pozen's extreme productivity to help you go beyond simply checking off tasks.
Right.
And understand how to achieve meaningful outcomes.
That's the goal, isn't it?
You bet.
Pozen doesn't just offer tips.
I've noticed that.
He provides the reasoning and evidence behind those tips, which is what makes his approach so valuable.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
Pozen defines personal productivity as achieving both the quantity and quality of results when you pursue your objectives.
Okay.
He emphasizes that it's not about mindlessly doing more,
Right.
but rather about getting the right things done.
Precisely. And to achieve those results, you need a clear understanding of your goals.
Makes sense.
You can't navigate effectively without knowing your destination.
So before we go any further,
Okay.
what are some of your top personal objectives?
Well,
And how would you define success in achieving them?
That's a good question.
Keep those in mind as we unpack Pozen's insights
Right.
and see how they resonate with your own experiences.
Pozen's background provides valuable context for his approach.
I see.
He talks about his parents' contrasting styles.
Interesting.
His mother, a highly efficient bookkeeper, instilled in him a strong work ethic and the ability to learn independently.
That's interesting because he didn't attend a particularly rigorous high school.
Really?
He even recounts an anecdote
Oh.
about his science class where the teacher would essentially leave the students to solve problems on their own.
That unconventional teaching style actually foreshadows the effectiveness of small interactive learning groups, which are widely used today.
Let's shift gears and delve into one of Pozen's core principles, setting and prioritizing goals.
Okay.
He noticed that many executives rush into action without clearly defining their priorities,
I've seen that too.
a pattern he calls.
Let me guess.
Ready, fire, aim.
To combat this, he suggests writing down every single thing that demands your attention, both work tasks and personal goals.
So just get it all down.
Once you have everything on paper,
Okay.
you can start categorizing those items by time horizon.
He outlines 3 time horizons: career aims for the long term, objectives for the midterm,
Right.
and targets to guide your weekly actions.
I like that.
Think about your own goals and how they fit into these categories.
So,
Do your short-term actions align with your long-term vision?
this simple framework can help you identify any misalignments or gaps in your approach.
I see.
It ensures that your efforts contribute to what truly matters in the long run.
Now, let's explore another fascinating principle from Pozen: focusing on the final product.
Interesting.
He suggests you formulate tentative conclusions before diving into the detailed work.
It might seem counterintuitive,
Right.
but starting with a hypothesis, even a tentative one,
Uh-huh.
helps guide your research and prevents you from getting lost in a sea of information.
So you're saying it's like,
It's like having a compass to navigate through a dense forest.
can you give us an example of how this works in practice?
Certainly. Pozen mentions a graduate student researching mission-related investing.
Okay.
Initially, she believed that legal risks were the primary obstacle.
Makes sense.
But after conducting a few interviews, she realized that recruiting and retaining top talent was the more pressing issue.
So she was able to adapt her initial hypothesis based on new information.
Right.
It's not about rigidly sticking to your first assumption,
No.
but rather having a framework that you can adjust as you gain a deeper understanding.
Exactly. This approach helps you stay focused on the bigger picture. It prevents you from getting sidetracked by less important details.
Which brings us to another crucial point from Pozen. Don't sweat the small stuff.
Ah, yes.
He reminds us that the 80-20 rule applies to most of our endeavors. 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts.
We need to identify those high-impact activities and be willing to cut back on those that yield minimal returns.
I like how you put that.
It's a shift from valuing busyness to valuing effectiveness.
Pozen uses a great analogy to illustrate this point.
Oh.
He talks about his frustration with lawyers billing by the hour. It highlights the need to focus on value created, not just time spent.
That's a critical distinction in today's work culture,
It is.
where long hours are often mistaken for productivity.
That's so true.
We need to be mindful of that
Right.
and direct our energy towards what truly moves the needle.
Now let's tackle a topic that generates a lot of discussion: multitasking.
Okay.
Pozen offers a balanced perspective. He acknowledges its practicality for low-priority tasks,
Right.
but cautions against it for demanding activities that require focus.
The key is to be mindful of the context.
Yeah.
If you're listening to a conference call where you're not actively participating, it might be fine to skim a report.
Yeah.
But if you're interacting with clients or solving a complex problem, multitasking can be detrimental.
Pozen even shares a funny personal story about learning the social limitations of multitasking.
Oh, really?
He recounts checking email during a meeting and inadvertently signaling disinterest to the other attendees.
It's a good reminder that multitasking can be perceived as disrespectful.
I see.
Especially in client-facing situations. They deserve our undivided attention.
Speaking of being present and focused,
Right.
Pozen has some excellent advice for maximizing productivity while traveling. He emphasizes the importance of meticulous planning,
Okay.
starting with a comprehensive checklist to ensure nothing is overlooked.
He also recommends packing light and using downtime during travel for focused work or catching up on reading. Those seemingly wasted hours can be transformed into valuable pockets of productivity.
Pozen even makes the case for flying business class on overnight flights,
Interesting.
framing it as an investment in rest to ensure you arrive refreshed and ready to work at your best.
He also provides some practical tips for managing jet lag. Like adjusting your sleep schedule in advance and maximizing light exposure upon arrival.
I've heard that.
Small adjustments can make a big difference in how quickly you recover from a long flight.
These tips are gold for any frequent traveler.
Definitely.
Now let's dive into a topic that often triggers groans. Meetings.
Oh, boy.
Pozen starts by asking a fundamental question. Is this meeting truly necessary?
It's a question we should all ask ourselves before scheduling or accepting a meeting invitation. Too often, meetings are scheduled out of habit rather than a genuine need to collaborate.
It's true.
Pozen suggests having clear agendas, distributing materials in advance, and limiting attendance to essential personnel.
He even proposes a bold idea.
What's that?
Banning meetings on one day each month.
Wow.
This allows everyone to catch up on individual work.
I like that.
And demonstrates how much can be accomplished without constant meetings.
It's a powerful statement about prioritizing focused work. And when meetings are necessary, Pozen advocates for running them effectively.
So how do we do that?
Concise presentations, active discussion, and even appointing a devil's advocate to challenge assumptions are key.
This ensures that all perspectives are considered.
Right.
And prevents decisions from being made in an echo chamber.
Now let's turn our attention to delegation,
Okay.
which is a critical skill for any leader.
It is.
Pozen stresses the importance of surrounding yourself with capable individuals and trusting them to take ownership of their areas of expertise.
It's about empowering your team members to excel in their roles.
Absolutely.
And giving them the autonomy to make decisions.
Pozen believes that hiring is a non-delegable function and offers valuable insights on conducting effective reference checks.
Like what?
Go beyond surface-level questions and probe for potential downsides or red flags. You want to gain a comprehensive understanding of the candidate's strengths and weaknesses.
Once you have the right people in place, it's essential to build a culture of trust.
You got it.
Pozen emphasizes the importance of giving constructive feedback and being forgiving of well-intentioned mistakes.
It's about creating a safe environment where individuals feel comfortable taking calculated risks and learning from their experiences.
That makes sense.
This leads us to our final discussion point for this part of the deep dive, achieving work-life balance.
Pozen acknowledges the challenge of balancing work demands with personal fulfillment.
Absolutely.
And highlights the importance of flexible work schedules and company cultures that support work-life integration.
He shares a personal example of his own efforts to prioritize family dinners and be present with his loved ones.
It's good to walk the walk.
Pozen emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries to protect personal time.
I got that.
He also acknowledges his wife Liz's dedication to their family, recognizing that the distribution of responsibilities within families is often unequal.
It's true.
It's a reminder that achieving true work-life balance often requires open communication with your partner and a willingness to negotiate and share responsibilities.
These discussions have provided a foundation for understanding Pozen's approach to extreme productivity. Now, the next part, we'll explore how he suggests we hone essential skills like reading and writing.
Sounds good.
Let's take a short break, and we'll be back with you soon to continue our deep dive.
Okay. Welcome back to our deep dive into Robert Pozen's extreme productivity.
I'm glad to be back.
Let's explore his insights on a skill we often take for granted.
Which is?
Reading effectively. It's not just about passively consuming words, but extracting meaningful information.
That's a great point. Most of us probably don't give much thought to how we read.
I know I don't.
We just do it.
Right.
But Pozen argues that there's a strategic element to it.
He emphasizes the importance of clarifying your purpose before you even open a book or article.
So before I even start,
are you seeking a general overview, hunting for specific facts, or looking for inspiration? Your reading strategy should align with your objective.
That makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It reminds me of how Pozen describes his own routine for reading multiple newspapers each morning in under an hour.
Wow.
It's not speed reading in the traditional sense.
I see.
But rather targeted reading based on his goals for that material.
He applies a similar principle to professional documents. He suggests analyzing the structure, paying close attention to headings, and thoroughly reading the introduction and conclusion.
So not the whole thing.
Before tackling the body of the text.
So it's about getting a grasp of the key takeaways first.
Exactly.
And then deciding which sections warrant a deeper dive.
Precisely.
And even within those sections, Pozen suggests skimming the beginnings of paragraphs.
Because a well-structured paragraph typically starts with a topic sentence that encapsulates the main idea.
So if it grabs you,
if that topic sentence piques your interest, you delve deeper.
Makes sense.
Then what?
Move on.
This active skimming technique helps us avoid getting bogged down in irrelevant details. And ensures we extract the most valuable insights from our reading. Let's
transition to another essential skill.
Which is?
Writing effectively.
Pozen believes outlining is the key to producing clear, concise, and compelling written communication.
It seems so basic.
Outlining seems like a basic step.
Right.
But I bet a lot of people skip it.
Probably.
Why does Pozen place so much emphasis on it?
He suggests starting with a brainstorming session.
Jotting
down all your ideas, even if they seem disorganized at first. Then group those ideas into categories and start arranging them into a logical flow.
I see.
This process helps ensure your writing has a strong structure and guides the reader through your line of reasoning. So it's not just about including the right information, but also about discarding irrelevant ideas and shaping a compelling narrative.
Exactly.
Once you have your outline in place, Pozen offers tips for crafting well-structured paragraphs.
He does.
Begin with a strong topic sentence that clearly states the main idea. The rest of the paragraph provides supporting evidence or elaborates on that central concept.
He also emphasizes the importance of using clear connecting words to signal the relationship between ideas, favoring the active voice for clarity, employing precise language,
Makes sense.
and being mindful of pronoun usage to avoid ambiguity.
Those are all excellent reminders for any writer.
They are.
Regardless of their experience level.
And while tools like spell check and grammar check can be helpful, they're not foolproof.
No, they're not.
Always carefully review your writing for errors and ensure your intended meaning is conveyed accurately.
Those small details can make a big difference in how your writing is perceived.
Definitely.
Pozen also acknowledges that many people struggle to find the time or mental space to write effectively.
I know I do.
He encourages us to establish a dedicated writing routine, minimize distractions, and break down large writing tasks into smaller, more manageable chunks.
Now let's shift gears and explore the art of public speaking.
Public speaking can be daunting for a lot of people.
It can.
What advice does Pozen offer for those who want to improve their speaking skills?
He recommends starting with a captivating introduction.
Like what?
A personal anecdote or a touch of humor can break the ice. And establish rapport with the listeners.
That's a great tip.
It is.
It makes the speaker seem more relatable and helps put the audience at ease.
What comes next? After the introduction, you clearly state the relevance of your topic and provide a roadmap for your presentation.
I see.
This helps the audience follow your train of thought and remain engaged.
It's like providing a map before embarking on a journey.
It is.
You want to make sure everyone knows where you're going and how you plan to get there.
Pozen also encourages speakers to convey genuine passion and enthusiasm for their topic. Use gestures, vocal intonation, and rhetorical devices to connect with the audience on an emotional level.
It's about going beyond simply conveying information
Exactly.
and inspiring your audience.
He suggests ending with a memorable conclusion that leaves a lasting impression.
Okay.
Instead of simply summarizing the main points.
For those who struggle with stage fright,
Right.
he emphasizes the importance of thorough preparation.
Okay.
And arriving early to get acquainted with the venue and audience.
That can help.
Those practical tips can go a long way in easing anxiety.
What about audience engagement?
Right.
How can speakers make their presentations more interactive?
Wow.
Pozen recommends actively engaging the audience by asking questions,
Okay.
soliciting feedback, or incorporating interactive elements into the presentation. It helps maintain their interest and encourages them to participate in the conversation.
And lastly, he stresses the value of seeking feedback,
Okay.
either through video recordings or honest critiques from trusted colleagues.
I see.
Feedback is essential for growth and improvement,
It is.
no matter how experienced you are as a speaker. Welcome back to our deep dive into extreme productivity.
Okay.
As promised, let's recap those 10 key takeaways from Robert Pozen's book
All right.
and translate them into actionable strategies.
Sounds good.
Are you ready to put these principles into practice?
Absolutely.
Let's start with the foundation of Pozen's approach,
Okay.
which is defining personal productivity.
He emphasizes that it's not about being busy,
Right.
but about achieving both the quantity and quality of results in pursuit of your goals.
So it's about working smarter, not just harder,
Right.
and focusing on what truly moves the needle towards your desired outcomes.
Exactly.
What's next on our list?
Next, we have setting clear goals.
Okay.
Pozen recommends using his framework of career aims for long-term aspirations, objectives for the midterm,
Right.
and targets to guide your weekly actions.
This framework helps you align your efforts across different time frames
It does.
and ensure that your daily tasks contribute to your larger vision.
It's about having a clear roadmap to success.
Pozen's third key principle is to focus on the final product from the outset.
Okay.
He advises formulating tentative conclusions before delving into detailed work.
I can see how this might seem counterintuitive,
It does, doesn't it?
but as we discussed earlier, it acts as a compass to guide your research and prevent you from getting lost in irrelevant details.
Right, precisely.
It's about starting with a hypothesis and refining it as you gather more information.
Pozen's fourth key principle is a familiar one.
Oh.
Don't sweat the small stuff.
Yes.
He reminds us of the 80-20 rule.
Right. Which states that 80% of our results stem from just 20% of our efforts.
We need to identify those high-impact activities
Absolutely.
and be willing to delegate or eliminate those that yield minimal returns.
It's a shift in mindset from valuing busyness to valuing effectiveness.
It's about being strategic with your time and energy
Right.
and focusing on what truly matters.
His fifth principle is to master the art of multitasking.
Yeah.
He acknowledges its practicality for low-priority tasks, but cautions against it when you're tackling demanding activities that require focus.
It's about recognizing when multitasking enhances your productivity and when it hinders it.
It's a tool that should be used judiciously.
Pozen's sixth key takeaway is to travel productively.
Okay.
He stresses meticulous planning, maximizing downtime, and even considering business class for overnight flights as an investment in rest and peak performance.
It's about using those travel hours strategically and arriving at your destination refreshed and ready to work.
His seventh takeaway focuses on running effective meetings.
Okay.
Pozen encourages us to question the necessity of every meeting, establish clear agendas, and keep them concise.
He also suggests appointing a devil's advocate to challenge assumptions and ensure that all perspectives are considered before decisions are made.
Pozen's eighth takeaway emphasizes the importance of delegating effectively.
It's about surrounding yourself with competent people, trusting them to manage their areas of expertise, and providing constructive feedback to help them grow.
It's about empowering your team to make decisions and take ownership of their work.
His ninth principle centers around giving constructive feedback.
Focus on improvement, not blame, and be willing to forgive honest mistakes.
It's about creating a safe environment where individuals feel comfortable taking risks and learning from their experiences.
And finally, Pozen reminds us to strive for balance between our work and personal lives.
He advocates for flexible work arrangements, setting boundaries to protect personal time, and open communication with your loved ones to ensure a fulfilling and sustainable lifestyle.
So there you have it, 10 actionable takeaways from Robert Pozen's Extreme Productivity to help you elevate your performance and achieve meaningful results in all areas of your life.
This deep dive has provided valuable insights into maximizing productivity without sacrificing well-being.
We encourage you to apply these principles to your own life and see what positive changes you can create.
Until next time.
Happy striving.